Welcome back to Cabin View Firewood. My name is Nick. Thanks for joining me today. So I just picked up the Virnig V30 Grapple this morning. I successfully sold all the attachments I had for the Kubota, the L4060, and I'm slowly replacing them with attachments that are going to fit on the MT120. So I'm going to throw a little bit of grease on the fittings here, and then we're going to walk around this and I'll show you some of the features on it. All right, it's all greased up, ready to go. So these Virnig V30s are really nice grapples, nice heavy duty, weighs about 290 pounds. This is a 48-inch grapple, dual cylinders, so going to be really nice for picking up logs. You can easily have different sizes on each end of the grapple, so this will clamp down on it nice and tight. But at 290 pounds, I think this will work great on a lot of subcompact and small compact tractors, as well as the Bobcat MTs. So as I'm replacing my tractor attachments, I'm still trying to stick to skid steer attachments. For one thing, I want to be able to run it on the BX that I'll be using every once in a while, and also for resale. It makes these attachments a lot easier to resell if they fit multiple machines. So let me show you how this Bobcat mounting system works and how it compares to a standard skid steer attach. So the biggest difference, really the only difference, the Bobcat system is more narrow. Same height as a standard skid steer attach, but more narrow. So where you can run into trouble, it's not usually the pin placement on the bottom. That is not that far off from a regular skid steer attach pin placement. The top, though, on a full-size skid steer, you will have a lot more mounting plate that runs this way, where on the Bobcat it's just inwards. So you got to make sure you have enough plate up top to mount into. And you can see on this Virnig grapple, it is absolutely, well, it's almost perfect. I stick in just a little bit right here, but besides that, you know, I've got 99.9% mounting surface covered on this thing, and then the pins drop right in where they need to. So it's mounted up nice and secure. Now the other grapple I had, which was the Everything Attachments Wicked Root Grapple, that did not work with this mounting system because of where the hydraulic hoses were routed. So on this Virnig, they're right on top of the grapple in this top plate. On the Everything Attachments one, there was a plate that ran right down the middle of the grapple, and this plate on the MT would butt up against it, so you couldn't get a good mount, and I couldn't get anything to line up either on the top or the bottom. So that's one thing you have to watch for. Now the forks, which I just replaced as well, they worked fine. I had a pretty heavy duty set of Tomahawk brand forks, 48-inch and 3,800 pound capacity. They were just a little too heavy for this machine. You got to remember what I'm doing with the MT, with my forks, I'm moving firewood baskets, heavy firewood baskets. So I want to have as little weight in the attachment as possible so I can lift more. So that was the main reason for replacing those, or else, like I said, they would have worked out just fine. But these Kivel, not quite sure how you say it, but these have the 42-inch tines on them, and they are a 2,000 pound capacity. So probably, I bet they're close to 100 pounds lighter than the set of Tomahawk ones I had for the L4060. Now I decided to go with the skeleton style versus the root rake style that I had before. This skeleton style is going to be a little easier to pick up logs with. The root rake one was fine, but you can only grab logs from the top. This one I'll be able to grab from the top or the bottom. So this will be really nice for picking up brush, logs, stone, and I should even be able to do a little bit of stone yard touch up with that bottom plate they have in there. It'll almost work like a little land plane. So I think this is going to work out just fine. Let's give this grapple a try and see how it does on moving logs, or see how I do using it for the first time moving logs. We got this pile here that I want to move closer to the splitter. I want to start working on some of this today. So we'll get you guys set up and we'll start moving these. All right, guys, that did not go as planned. So the front bar on this grapple bent, and I got a pretty good shot of it, very good shot of it, while I was moving those logs. Now, it has been a couple days since I shot that video. I noticed it happened pretty quick, and I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I didn't want to overreact. So I wanted to take some time to analyze, figure out exactly how it happened. Is it something I did wrong? I wanted to reach out to my dealer and get a response from them and really try to figure this thing out. So now that all of that has come together, I decided to shoot the end of this video. So I reached out to my dealer the next day. They have been fantastic through all of this. Absolutely none of the blame is on them. They promptly reached out to their rep at Virnig. The rep at Virnig talked to an engineer, the engineer department. I'm not quite sure exactly who. I don't have exact conversation, but the response I got was that the engineers at Virnig stated that this grapple is only rated for moving brush, not logs. Now, that's kind of where I hit a boiling point. I am going to pause right here. I am going to put Vernig's description of this exact grapple up on the screen, and we're just going to read through a portion of this. And you guys tell me, am I wrong? Are they wrong? All right, so this is the Virnig SGV 48-CT. The Virnig V30 CT skeleton grapple offers a wide range of options with available widths spanning from 48 to 72 inches. Its clever open-sided design makes it an ideal choice for efficiently hauling brush and logs, providing unobstructed access and visibility. The open bottom feature allows dirt and debris to effortlessly fall through, streamlining your workflow. With its quarter-inch grade 50 steel tines and generous 28.7-inch jaw opening, this grapple is built for durability and versatility. It's designed to be compatible with loaders, boasting an operating capacity of less than 1,500 pounds. I'm going to stop there because that is the heart of the description for this grapple, specifically using terms like efficiently hauling logs, built for durability and versatility. So the fact that Virnig is stating this grapple is only capable of hauling brush, are they lying in their description? Is somebody misquoting or misstating at the company? Regardless, this thing is not built to the proper specs to handle logs the way Virnig describes it. There's no way that small pile of logs I was moving, I mean, you saw the size of the material in here. You know, there's no way that stuff should have damaged this grapple. This thing needs to be way more robust down in this bottom plate if you want to haul logs. I mean, the only thing that happened, you know, that log is like clamped down on that log. It got pinched or in between this tooth and the plate here, and then it pushed this plate down. So let me give you a closer look up. Now, that could easily happen even if you're just hauling brush. You get a bigger piece of material somewhere in that pile, and it gets underneath one of these teeth here as it's clamping down. Didn't take a whole lot to bend that bar. You can see that space in there now. That used to be flat. So right there, that tooth on the very end sits nice and flat. And that's how all of them were. Now you've got a huge gap in here. You can put your hand in there. You got another one right there. And then that one at the end also no longer sits flat. So this entire bottom plate is off. Plus I bent, I believe 3 of these tines. It's going to be really hard to see in the video. But if you look down these, 3 of them are now bent. Those three right there. All right, so here we are. You know, right now I am stuck with a grapple that cannot handle the needs that I have, the expectations that I have for this grapple and moving logs and brush. I'm not going to sell it. You know, I'm not going to pawn this off to somebody else knowing the issue with this. Plus, I don't know anybody else out there that would spend $2,500 to $3,000 for a grapple just to move brush around. You know, it's just not realistic. And it's actually a shame that, you know, if that's Virnig's stance on it, that's what their expectations are from their customers. You know, plus they're really overstating the capabilities of this thing. So I am going to, and let me know, guys, you know, what's your stance on it? Did I do something wrong? You know, should I have not been picking up logs with this thing, which is clearly in the description? Was it just bad luck that I got one pinched in between the plate and, you know, one of the arms here? But that can easily happen to anybody. So, you know, you would expect this thing to be able to handle that, no problem. So what I'm going to do, you know, in conclusion is I'm going to get this thing fixed. You know, I'm going to look around, try to find a good metal fabricator. You know, we'll try to get this bottom plate and these tines straightened out the best that we can, and then try to figure out some kind of reinforcement. Because at the end of the day, I like the design of this. You know, this skeleton style with these open sides is the best design when you're moving logs. You can get these with closed sides or more support on the sides and closer tines. You know, that's going to be a more robust grapple, but it's also not going to be the best for moving logs around. And that's primarily what I'm going to be using this for. So, you know, hopefully it doesn't cost me a whole lot more money to get this thing built the way it should have been built in the first place. But we'll get it figured out. So that is going to wrap things up. I appreciate you guys being here. We've got a pretty steady rain coming down right now. So I'm going to get the Bobcat back into the equipment shed, and I will see you guys on the next one.